Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody, to the second bonus episode. It's Warm Weather Fans Sunbelt Trivia. I'm Zeke Palermo, back again with Brian Stone and Matt Miguez. Not using their pseudonyms today, making it easier on me and an easier listen for our watchers. No one wants to hear about Jeff Steelflex anymore. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good.
I'd be better if I was playing against Jefferson Steelflex.
All right, fair enough.
Jeff
So-
Steelflex took you to the woodshed last week. What are you talking about?
Hey, shut up.
Talk about
No
buried
bantering.
alive.
No bantering.
Buried alive.
No bantering among contestants.
So we changed up the format a little bit today in hopes of making it easier on our contestants, but also just make this game work a little smoother for the podcast format. So instead of Jeopardy, we've shifted to Family Feud. For these first couple questions, it is not Family Feud in the sense of I asked survey questions, but rather it will be a question of give me the top 10 XYZ in the Sun Belt, and you will get more points for whoever ranks higher on that list. You will each get, I will play it by ear, but I'm going to say you're going to get two incorrect answers, and we're just going to try to keep it moving. There will be even ups. So let's say Brian gets the first answer. He gets his second incorrect answer. Matt will then still have a chance, and we'll just go until someone has gotten two X's on a question. Does that make enough sense, at least at the beginning?
Oh, you mean Matt doesn't get infinite chances to answer like he did last time? Wow.
No. So, again, unlike Family Feud,
unnecessary.
This is going to go back and forth instead of someone kind of controlling the board and then having a chance to steal later. This will alternate. And Brian, because you won last week's episode of trivia, you get to go first. You get first dibs. The top 8 answers to this question are on the board on my PowerPoint. Gentlemen, which team received the most votes in the Sun Belt Conference preseason coaches poll? I will tell you that the votes are distributed by division. So they're not, App State isn't competing with Arkansas State, for example. But Brian, give me your first answer and we can see if it's up there.
So I just want to ask a question for clarification, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to put an answer out there, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be number 1. So after that, do I just keep rolling until I get one wrong, or
So we'll flip it to Matt.
Oh, okay.
We'll kind of go even ups. We'll take turns. Your advantage, because you won last time, is that you get to go first. You get a greater dib on, and we'll go until someone has gotten 2 wrong.
Okay. All right. Appalachian State.
App State is the number 1 answer. They ranked higher than every other team in the Sun Belt in the preseason coaches poll. Matt, it is now your turn.
Texas
State. They ranked number 2, top of the West. Back to you, Brian.
Louisiana.
A little further down the board, they ranked 6th. You get 3 points for that.
James
Madison. They were second in the East at number 3. You get 6 points.
Matt, do you take a little bit of offense at how far down the board Louisiana is?
No, because that's where I had them beginning of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Marshall.
Brian, that's the first incorrect answer of the game. Marshall was not ranked in the top 8. And reminder, there are only 14 teams in the Sun Belt. That's the first incorrect answer. Matt, you're up.
Coastal Carolina.
They were ranked 5th. Matt, you get 4 points for that response. To you, Brian.
South Alabama,
they were ranked 8th. You can see there are a handful of teams from each division.
Was Troy in that fourth spot?
Are you asking or are you telling me?
That's my guess. Troy.
Troy was in the fourth spot.
That's such a. I'm not hating because Matt got it right. That's such a bad take, even with the benefit of foresight.
It is.
Like it was so stupid. Shoot, Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern is not the last team on the board. Matt, this is your last guess because Brian just got two wrong. You'll get an even up. Who do you have?
I feel like it was Arkansas State.
Matt, that's correct. Arkansas State.
Wow.
So that's clear in the board. Our score through one round is Brian 14, Matt 25. Matt already off to a much better start than he was in the last. Matt, for kind of winning that round, we're going to give you first dibs on the next question. Since 2019, who's rushed for the most yards in the Sun Belt?
I would like to cast my answer for Rasheen Ali.
Rasheen Ali, nowhere on this board.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you got to think. I mean, this isn't giving anything away. You got to think he basically sat out like a full season.
That's true.
Didn't play.
That's true.
Kimani Vidal.
Kimani Vidal is the number one answer by a fair bit. That goes back to Matt.
Is Elijah Mitchell on this board?
Elijah Mitchell also not on the board. So, Brian, you're going to get an even up, and because... No, you'll just get one more shot, and then we'll call it around because Matt sucks.
God!
Nate Noel.
Nate Noel. He's number 3
Good
for
guess.
6. We'll start from the bottom here. 8th most rushing yards in the Sun Belt over the past 5 seasons. That would be Tucker Gregg, Georgia State running back.
I would not have gotten that.
I
That's
would
a
have
tough
never
one.
guessed that.
Above him, another tough one, Darren Granger. Another tough one.
Okay.
That wouldn't have been as crazy of a guess for me.
Yeah. Above him, Jalen White. He'll probably end his career higher up this list. Before him, it was Frank Gore.
Mm-hmm.
Before him, it was Cameron Peoples, a name I haven't heard in a minute.
Yeah.
And another name I haven't heard in a minute at number 2 is
Darrington
Josh
Evans.
It's Josh Johnson. So
who did Josh Johnson play for?
Matt?
Are we at a loss? Like I'm just asking. Like I don't need it to be a detective question. I'm just asking. Who did he play for?
Let me make sure I have this right. I'm like this is before I started following the Sun Belt, so you're gonna have to bear with me as I confirm. I believe it was oh my
He's
goodness.
the only name on this list that
No, it is ULM. Yes, it is ULM.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure.
He's the only name on this list I'm like, who? Everybody else, I'm like, yeah, that all sounds right to me.
Yeah, sorry. I did just want to ensure I had that right. He last played in 2020. And
so basically he played 2 seasons and is the second most leading rusher since 2019.
That's all it takes. You had a hell of a season.
That's crazy to me.
We move to round 3. There are 5 regular boards before we go into a final fast money round. So we are 2/5 of the way through. Brian, you won the last board, so we'll give you first dibs. Which Sun Belt team is in the most populated city? Yeah, that one's a bit of a gimme. It is Georgia State.
It's not even like a real competition.
Yeah, unfortunately, Matt, he did kind of get the layup there, but there are still lots of points on the board. Matt, give me a guess.
Lafayette's got to be near the top.
Lafayette is near the top. They're number 4. You get 6 points for that. It goes to Brian.
Old Dominion.
Norfolk.
Oh, Norfolk.
Very heavily populated area. That's 9 points your way, Brian. Matt, where do you want to stab at?
Mobile.
Mobile is the third. I'll tell you both. This is kind of where there's a big drop off, at least in my eyes, of the notoriety of these cities. Now we start getting into, again, per my perception of them, college towns.
James Madison?
James Madison is the final name on the board. Harrisonburg. That gets you 3 points. Matt.
I want to venture to say that San Marcos is up there.
San Marcos is up there. They are number 6. That earns you 4 points.
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina is not on the board. No
That's
points
crazy.
for Conway. Here's the thing: if they were Myrtle Beach,
because it
I would
doesn't count
imagine
Myrtle
that
Beach.
is- Yep,
But I
it's
just thought
Conway.
there were enough people in that area that they would count. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a solid guess, but not quite. Matt.
Huntington.
Huntington also not there.
Okay.
Brian.
Oh wait, I think I know what it is.
Well, if it gets past Brian here, you'll have a chance to send it home.
Boone.
Not Boone.
Is it Hattiesburg?
Not Hattiesburg. The answer we're looking for there, interestingly, Jonesboro, Arkansas State.
Really?
Who'd have thunk? Yeah, like I said, there's a bit of a drop off here, at least in my eyes, between Lafayette and the other three. And honestly, I'd say the drop off might be here between Mobile and Lafayette.
So you mean to tell me that the town that doesn't have enough hotels to house 2 Sunbelt football programs for an away game
Yes, correct.
has enough people?
This is per the 2020 census data. We're looking at only inside the city limits. We move on to the next board. I'm not sure who won that board, so we'll just flip it to Matt because Brian has had 2 to start. We'll flip it to Matt here for the 4th board. Another football one. Let me check the scores real quick. We have 53 for Brian, Matt with 42. In 2023, who led the Sun Belt in receptions? Not receiving yards, but catches.
Joey Hobart has to be up there.
Joey Hobart is up there, not as high as you want him to be, though, Matt. He's ranked number 4. That gets you 8 points.
Derwin Burgess.
Derwin Burgess also on there, also not as high as you want him to be.
I'm trying to think of receivers from last year. Chris Lewis.
Chris Lewis, not on the board.
Okay.
Damn it. I can't think of the name of the guy. I know who he is, and I know what teams he played for, but I can't think of his name. I'm going to go... I probably screwed this up, but... God damn it. What is his name? Shoot, Corey Rucker. I don't know. I screwed it up.
He's not up there. Matt.
Yeah.
Is Sam Pinckney up there?
Sam Pinckney is not up there.
Oh!
That's a good guess. I think he's one of the first guys off this list.
Yeah. That was actually who I was thinking about, honestly.
That's a really good guess, but not quite. Brian. Matt, is that your second incorrect? That is. So, Brian, this is the last guess of the round.
I'm like blanking on names, honestly. What is it? Voisin at South Alabama?
It's not Voisin.
Okay.
So at number 5, he played for Troy last year. Jabari Barber. Then we go to Joey Hobart at 3. This one, I anticipated someone getting Elijah Surratt. I guess I doubled up on my icons here.
Oh yeah, it was the JMU receivers. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I couldn't remember their names.
Ahead of him, it was Colin Lacey. He's the South Al guy you're thinking of, Brian.
Yeah.
And then this, I'm shocked we didn't get. Number 1, he's still at this school, I think. It's Caleb Hood. Played in that very pass-heavy Georgia Southern offense.
I don't think he's not on the team anymore. I think he graduated last year.
Did he transfer?
God, no, I think he graduated.
One of these guys plays at A&M, I think. I can't remember which one.
My guess, I think it's Surratt.
Mm-hmm.
My guess was I couldn't think of the name of the Georgia State receiver. Now I know he's not on here, but that was my guess. I couldn't. What was that guy's name last year? Who was the y'all's leading receiver? Zeke.
Oh, was it like Robert Lewis or?
No, it was the other guy. He's in the NFL now, but he's like on a practice squad, like right at the end of a roster. I can't think of his name.
Oh, he's on the Browns now.
Yeah, that guy.
It'll come to me.
All right.
No, that was a tough one. But we did well.
Yeah.
Matt, this is the final regular board, and then we have a fast money round. I need you to tell me, and I don't know if this deserves to be the last one. Among current Sunbelt head coaches, 5950, who has the most wins at their current job?
Among current coaches.
Current coaches at their current job.
I mean, I think I know who number 1 is.
Brian, we're going to give you the first guess.
Sean Clark.
It is Sean Clark. Bit of a layup there. But Matt, there's still lots of points available.
It's tough because a lot of these.
Charles Huff is number 2. Yeah.
It's tough because a lot of these guys are at different jobs now, you know? So you're like going through being like, wait a minute, nope, that guy's new, that guy's new, that guy's new. So
yeah, a lot of first year, second year coaches.
Yeah. Clay Helton.
Clay Helton is on the board again, just kind of by defact.
Well, there's somebody else that I feel is pretty high up there by default, but is not really a good coach. And
well,
I'm going to guess him next.
Let's see if Matt steals him away. Matt?
Good Lord. Is Michael Desormeaux in the top 5?
Michael Desormeaux is number 3. Had a couple good years there at UL. Brian, do you have the last one?
I think this is my guess, and I don't think he's a good coach, but I think it's Ricky Ronnie just by virtue of how long he's been there.
It's not Ricky Ronnie. He did not make the cut.
Is it Will Hall?
It's also not Will Hall. Also not a good coach.
Definitely not Will Hall.
That was.
Well, no, I thought been there. Will Hall's been there for a long time.
I thought Ricky Ronnie was a bit of a goofy guess. Will Hall was even goofier.
Well, I thought Ricky Ronnie just by virtue of how long he's been there. Not that he's good, but he just keeps getting opportunities. I thought was kind of the default.
Brian, you get another stab at it.
I don't know. Is it G.J. Kinney?
It's not G.J. Kinney. Matt?
I'm trying to run through all the schools in my head.
Yeah. But that's the problem is a lot of them have new coaches, or again, I thought Ronnie would have been 5 as like almost like a trick question answer.
Is it Butch Jones?
There's your trick question answer. It's Butch Jones.
It's crazy to me that he's fifth.
A job?
Well, yeah, but it's
Oh
crazy to me.
Oh my
It's
god!
It's crazy to me that he's fifth, given that like he had so many like really underachieving seasons to start. Like he's almost just there by tenure, which is what
Yeah,
I was
who else
my
has
line of
been
thinking
there?
about Ronnie.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys ran through all the coaches that have been there more than
1
I mean,
year.
the only other
year.
one, the only other one I thought of was Tim.
Tim Beck, but I mean,
He's
this
been
is
there
year
1 year.
2.
Yeah.
So
That's why I thought Kenny was maybe like a joke, like
Mhm.
like a trick answer.
So miraculously, as we finish the final regular board, it's tied 86-86. Spectacular, which sets us up for fast money. I will tell you both that fast money has been set up like regular Family Feud. I went to the Sunbelt subreddit and a couple college football Discord channels and asked people to fill out a survey. And I asked them 5 questions about the Sun Belt. I got about 42 answers, which was 32 more than I anticipated getting.
Wow.
And so there are 5 questions that I'm going to ask you guys. I am going to ask that again, Brian, we'll give you the advantage because you won the last trivia. There will be no, like, you can't repeat because you guys are playing against each other. I will let you to repeat answers. Would you like to go first or second?
Second.
Second. Okay. So here's how this is going to work. Brian, I'm just going to ask you, and this is the honor system, to mute your headphones, your audio, as I go through the questions with Matt. Matt, there is
Wait,
not
hold
one.
on real
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. Do you want me to like walk away from the screen too?
No, that won't be necessary.
Okay. All right.
Matt.
I'll just take my headphones out.
Yep. There will not be a time component because I am not as precise a presenter as Steve Harvey, but I do ask that you have some urgency in your responses, okay? We'll just flip over to the fast money. You guys were tied at 86 apiece as we enter the final round. Matt, sorry, I got to pull up my sheet. Starting now, what FBS team will be the next to join the Sun Belt?
Oh God.
And this was a survey of Sun Belt fans.
Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech. Name a rivalry in the Sun Belt.
App State, Georgia Southern.
App State, Georgia Southern. Tell me, what's the best looking head coach in the Sun Belt? Or who is?
GJ Kinney.
GJ Kinney. Name an active NFL player that went to a current Sun Belt school.
Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell. If it weren't in New Orleans, where would the Sun Belt be headquartered?
Birmingham.
Birmingham. All right. We'll go through your answers real quick. I won't put them on the screen, but we will show how many points they earned. Matt, you were asked what FBS team will join the Sun Belt next. You answered Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech will earn you 3 points. You were asked to name a rivalry in the Sun Belt. You said App State, Georgia Southern. That will earn you 15 points. You were asked, who's the best looking head coach in the Sun Belt? You said GJ Kinney. That will get you 8 points. You were asked to name an active NFL player that went to a Sun Belt school. You said Elijah Mitchell. That earns you 3 points. And you were asked, if it weren't in New Orleans, where would the Sun Belt be headquartered? You said Birmingham, which earns you 7 points. As we sum that all up, you get 10, 25, 33, 36 points. 86 and 33 make 119, if I'm right. And I'll tell you that was a pretty solid finish.
36 points. Zeke
36. So do you need
should have
120, 122? Gotcha. Sorry about that. Brian, come back in as I'm trying to catch his attention. All right, he's back. So Brian, Matt got 36 points. Matt, you can keep your headphones on. Yeah. You've already answered, Matt. There's no. And he muted himself, so it's okay. So I will not ding you for a repeat question because you guys are going head to head. And there's also not a time component to this because I'm not a polished presenter, but I do ask that you answer as quickly as possible. Just in the nature of the game. Okay. These were asked again among Sunbelt fans, so keep in mind that those are the answers to these questions. And we will begin now. Brian, what FBS team will join the Sunbelt next?
Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech. Brian, name a rivalry in the Sunbelt.
Georgia Southern App State.
Georgia Southern App State. Brian, tell me, who is the best-looking head coach in the Sunbelt?
Tim Beck.
Tim Beck. Brian, I need you to name me an active NFL player from a current Sunbelt school.
Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell. And Brian, I need you to tell me, if it weren't in New Orleans, where would the Sunbelt be headquartered?
Virginia.
Virginia. All right. We'll go through your answers. Brian, you were asked to name the next Sunbelt team among current FBS schools. You said Louisiana Tech. That will earn you 3 points. That was the same answer Matt gave. Mm-hmm. The number one answer was Western Kentucky.
Oh, okay. They've already had their shot and left, so I don't I didn't know about that.
Brian, you were asked to name a rivalry in the Sun Belt. You said Georgia Southern App State. Much like Matt did, that earns you both 15 points. That was also the number one answer. Brian, I asked you to tell me who the best-looking head coach in the Sun Belt was. You told me Tim Beck, which earned you 3 points. Matt answered G.J. Kinney, which earned him 8. The top answer was Bob Chesney.
They haven't seen the photo shoot from last year on the beach. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
The fact that Tim Beck received any votes was shocking. I asked you
didn't
both.
See the photo shoot on the beach.
I saw the photo shoot. I saw, and didn't they play in the Hawaii Bowl, or who was it that played in the Hawaii Bowl? Was it Tim Beck? Because whoever played in the Hawaii Bowl did the exact same shoot, and it was awful. I asked you to name an active NFL player from a current Sunbelt team. Gentlemen, you guys spent too much time together because you both answered Elijah Mitchell for 3 points.
Which means I lost. I can already tell.
That may not be the case because the number one answer for this final question, if it weren't in New Orleans, where would the Sun Belt be headquartered? The top answer on this board earns you 20 points. Birmingham, which Matt answered, was the second best answer. Brian, you answered Virginia. Do you care, just for the sake of the game, to give me a city?
Roanoke.
No one in our survey answered anything in Virginia. That gets you 0 points. The top answer was Atlanta. The top answer was Atlanta, which would have gotten you 20 points. And gentlemen, that wraps it. Matt, after getting pounded last week,
listen,
wins the
if there's one thing
Sunbelt
Matt knows,
game.
Listen, I'm going to give a concession speech. If there's one thing Matt knows, it's who the hottest guys are. So I got to give it up for that. Matt, you are so much better at gauging guys' looks than I am. Congrats.
That's not even the question that you got a 0 on.
No, but it's the question that I got less points on, head to head or whatever. So there you go.
I couldn't keep a straight face in the first 2 questions when you said Louisiana Tech and then App State and Georgia Southern. I was like, that's the same thing I said.
And then you followed it up with Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
The number 1 answer to that question, I don't think I said it, was Younghoe Koo.
Oh,
that's so strange that's so strange though that it would be. I mean, I get it.
Was Will Lutz up there?
Will Lutz received 1 vote. I anticipated the top answer to be Isaiah Likely, but he finished tied for 3rd. I'll run through my.
Go ahead. I was about to say who was the next behind Koo?
After Younghoe Koo, it was Aaron Stinney.
Who?
What?
So Aaron Stinney, unfortunately, I think this is where some of the bias from our respondents came from. He is an offensive lineman for the Giants. He played at JMU.
Who did he play? Oh, wait.
So he was in the Sun Belt for a year?
No, he didn't even play in the Sun Belt then, because he wasn't on the team last year. He was in the NFL last year.
Oh, so that's an excellent question.
He played on the FCS team.
Yes. That's a good point. Unfortunately, the question was phrased, name an active NFL player from a current Sun Belt team.
Oh, okay.
So I hear what you're saying. If we want to eliminate that answer,
I don't care. I don't care, but it's the same result either way. I just was like, it's weird that, like, if I was like Matt Breida, well, Matt Breida never played. I guess he did play in the Sun Belt, but it would be like Jarrett McKinnon. Jarrett McKinnon never played in the Sun Belt, so like, I was just like, that's weird.
So I'll run you through the answers I gave because I filled out this survey. Next team into the Sun Belt, I said Kennesaw State. 1 other person responded with that. Name a rivalry. I said App Georgia Southern. That felt like the most obvious answer. Battle for the belt. USA Troy was not far behind. Best looking coach. My vote did go to Bob Chesney rather, who edged out GJ Kinney, and then the rest of them just kind of at the bottom. Active player. I said DeMario Davis. Played for UL.
Oh, yeah.
He was tied with Isaiah Likely and Kimani Vidal for 2nd or 3rd, I guess, if you toss out Aaron Stinney. And then headquarters, I said Montgomery, Alabama. It was by and far Atlanta, although Birmingham and Mobile received several votes. Montgomery received several votes. I don't know who put Pensacola. That was the worst answer to any question on this survey. Why would it be in Pensacola?
People in Pensacola don't want it.
Why
people
is
in Pensacola don't want to be in
Pensacola?
It beats me, but I thought that was an ass backwards answer. Boys, thank you so much for playing. Matt, do you have any sort of winner's speech? Brian gave us a concession, and he went on a monologue last week. So what do you have for us?
I'm very thankful to the Academy for this distinguished honor.
No Academy.
I appreciate the Sun Belt Family Feud Trivia Association for voting for me. I promise to carry this title of Warm Weather Fans Family Feud Trivia Champion. I plan to carry this title well, and I will do this great organization proud. So thank you very much.
That is, of course, until he gets supplanted by Brian next week. Thank you all so much for listening, so much for watching to another bonus episode of Warm Weather Fans. My name is Zeke Palermo. I was with Brian Stone and Matt Miguez today. Thank you so much, everyone. I will talk to you soon.